Good morning everyone, my name is Michelle, I hope you're doing well. Welcome to another video. It is Thursday morning the 10th of October. In this video we're going to talk about the missing woman, 34-year-old Victoria Taylor, who is missing out of Malton in North Yorkshire here in the UK. So it's over on the east of England, I'm in the northwest. Malton is further north than I am. It's in between like Durham and York, if you want like a little bit of orientation. Victoria has been missing since the early afternoon of September 30th, so we're well into the second week now. I have done a couple of live streams about Victoria, but there was a police update yesterday. Like literally, as I got off my live stream talking about Victoria, there was this police update, but it's only dead short. It's only 4.5 minutes, so I didn't bother coming back live just to play that. I'm going to play that today, and for those people who don't watch live streams, you know, some people don't like live streams because they're too long. This is going to be a nice, concise video with pretty much everything we know about Victoria's disappearance to date, including yesterday's police update. So, let's go.
Thank you for attending today as we continue to search for 34-year-old Victoria Taylor, who is known locally as Vix. She's still missing from her home in the Norton area of Malton. I'm here today to provide an update to the local community on the police response to finding Victoria. But firstly, I want to acknowledge the unimaginable level of distress that Victoria's family are going through following her disappearance 9 days ago.
The family of Victoria have been very proactive in looking for her, setting up local search parties. There's a Facebook group called the Search for Victoria Taylor. I'll link that in the description box. It's got like 8,000 or 9,000 members right now, and it's well moderated. It's focused absolutely on the search. People doing local search parties, people giving out flyers, people offering suggestions. It's all very positive, no drama in there as of yet. Now, Victoria has got a couple of sisters who have been proactive. She has a partner who she is engaged to be married to, and she's also got a little daughter. I think she's 2 years old. So Victoria is very much missed. Absolutely awful, and I think this police update is not what anybody wanted to hear.
We've put specialist officers in place to link in directly with the family and provide them with support and keep them updated with our strategy and any developments. The family are supportive of the police response, and we are working together in our efforts to find Victoria. Victoria left her home at 9 a.m. on Monday the 30th of September.
Now, some news reports from a few days ago were reporting that she FaceTimed her sisters around 9 a.m. on September 30th, after which time her partner and her little daughter went to see his parents, the partner's parents. Now, I don't know how true that is, but that was what was said in the press a few days ago.
She was then seen on CCTV at 11:35 a.m. at the BP garage on Welham Road.
Okay, so we've got the map here. So 11:30, this is Malton. This here is Malton. So you've got Malton here, and then you've got Norton. Victoria's from Norton. It's kind of like the same town, I guess, but separated by the River Derwent. So if we go down here, this is Welham Road, and the BP garage is right here. This looks like a construction site because this map is over a year old. This is from July 2023, and locals tell me that that is now the site of the BP garage. So she bought some items from the BP garage, and on CCTV you can see her with a bag. So she's got a rucksack on, a backpack, but she's holding a bag. There has been some, what I would call misinformation in the news, came out yesterday or the day before, with Peter Blacksley, who sometimes I agree with. He commentates a lot on missing persons cases here in the UK. He's a retired detective. And he was saying that she's clutching this bag, she's clutching it, so it's definitely something like she really thinks highly of. No, it was raining, and what she got her items in was a paper bag. So she's holding the bag so that it doesn't break in the rain, because paper and rain don't really mix, do they? So she's there at 11:30 a.m.
That's in Norton. She's then purchased several items, and we've further confirmed a sighting of Victoria, which was captured at 11:53 a.m. on the Monday at Malton bus station, which is on Railway Street.
Okay, Malton bus station. So there was a sighting of her. A witness saw her here between Lidl, this supermarket, and this crossing. So she's gone over here. She's walked down here. Now, in my first live stream that I did on Victoria, I thought she'd gone down to the river here. But no, she's carried on. And there is a sighting of her at this bus station. Not waiting for a bus, but just walking past. She's just caught on CCTV walking past here. Okay, that's where the sighting of her with the bag came from. So that's 11:53.
Victoria is seen to be carrying a bag, which we believe contained the items that were purchased at the BP garage. Additional witness evidence supports the fact that Victoria did not enter the station, and we have no reason to believe that she's used transport at that time.
So there's no evidence she was on foot, and there's no evidence that she used public transport. She didn't get on the bus. Now, there will be CCTV on the bus station. Buses here in the UK have CCTV. There's also a train station just here, Malton train station. There's no evidence that she kind of doubled back on herself and went to the train station. Train stations have CCTV, so I'm sure that the police have checked all that out. So she carried on walking. Okay, so she went past here, carried on walking.
Public transport. In the last 24 hours, we've also recovered further CCTV footage, which shows Victoria walking towards the play park on Riverside Walk.
So the play park on Riverside Walk, which is here. And there was a witness who saw her walking past this play park. Let's get a little bit closer. There's the play park. So there was a witness who said she saw her walking past the play park. So she's gone down this road. This is kind of bus stations up here. She walked along here. And when you get past this play park, you can see that there's an opening there where the path goes through. And if you didn't want to go through there, you can just walk up there and the wall ends. So the wall is literally there to, protect kids from falling in the river. And directly behind this wall is the River Derwent, as you can see here. So this looks like a well-trodden path. You can walk all along the banks of the river once you get past that play park. So she's not gone far in 37 minutes. She's here at 11:53. And then she's seen kind of walking past here at 12:30. So where was she for 37 minutes? Because that's only surely a couple of minutes walk. So that's interesting. Where did she go? May not be relevant whatsoever at all. Maybe she sat down and ate whatever she bought from the shop at the BP garage. Do know she bought soft drinks. But it's just interesting that there is that gap. I'd like to know how that was filled.
Various items that belong to Victoria have been recovered from this location. Since receiving the initial report of Victoria going missing, we've made every effort to find her. Previous releases of information made by North Yorkshire Police highlight the scale of inquiries undertaken to date. And I would like to reiterate that based on the current information, no indication of any form of third-party involvement has been established, and we're still treating this as a missing person inquiry.
So she's on her own. The CCTV shows her on her own. There's no evidence that she got into an altercation with anybody. Several witnesses saw her. She's caught on CCTV. There's no evidence that any member of her family is involved. There's just no evidence of it at all. So I think at the moment we can rule out foul play.
As with any investigation, we are very open-minded and will continue to explore all lines of inquiry. Based on the discovery of Victoria's belongings so close to the water's edge, we must accept the significant possibility that Victoria has entered the River Derwent.
And the police have said this. Like from day one, their focus has been on the river. The items, the soft drinks that she bought at the BP shop were found by family members, I believe. And then her rucksack and her cap were found by officers, I think the day after that. So, look, guys, there's no evidence that she's anywhere else. She wasn't caught on CCTV, like, coming back from that river walk. She's just not been seen. She's not been seen since then. So you've kind of got to accept that the most likely place she is in the river.
Searches are currently underway, taking place in the river, and those searches have been taking place above and below the water surface. The team are using specialist sonar equipment which gives officers a view below the surface. This search is slow and complex, and the team are working methodically in very difficult conditions. The use of this specialist resource will continue in the coming days, and we are very much supported by this work on a national level by police and advisors. Additional specialist police search officers are using drones to scour the rural areas close to where Victoria's possessions were also found. Over the coming days, we will continue our search to find Victoria and ensure that we are doing all that we can to support the family. Understandably, the disappearance of Victoria has shocked the local community, and the family take comfort in the overwhelming amount of support from people both locally and further afield. We have seen a small amount of misinformation and speculation, which is not helpful and is causing unnecessary anguish to Victoria's family at this time. Victoria's family have made it clear on various social media platforms, following the sharing of this inaccurate information, that their wish is to work only with North Yorkshire Police in our efforts to locate Victoria.
And I'm very glad to hear that. I am so glad to hear that. We know what happened when third-party searchers, sonar, quote-unquote experts, joined the search for Nicola Bulley. It got very, very drama-filled very quickly. So I'm glad that this case has not descended into that. There has been a small amount of misinformation. I'm maybe assuming that they're talking about what Peter Blexley said, although I don't know. There may be other stuff that I haven't seen. I've been following this case closely since day one, honestly. But it's a fluid situation. People do want to comment on it. I think we do have to accept. I think we have to accept she's in the river. I really, really hope that I'm wrong and the police are wrong, but it's not looking like that. It's news that no one wants to hear, because if she's not in the river, there's a chance she's alive. If she's in the river, she's dead, and nobody wants to face that. But that's where all the clues are headed right now.
And they have asked that I take this opportunity to reiterate their position. And finally, we have taken advice on a national level to ensure that we are doing all that we can to achieve the best possible outcome for Victoria and her family. And as head of local policing for North Yorkshire Police, I have every confidence in our ongoing response to the missing person search for Victoria.
I thought that was short and very to the point, which is good here. Now, this is river levels for the River Derwent at Malton. There is a measuring station at Malton, and if you look at the long-term river levels and look at what happened on the 30th of September, you can see all the way through August to the end of September, the river was really low. If you look at a typical low, it's 0.54 metres. A typical high is 5 metres, so the river does vary quite a lot. It's not a particularly wide river, but it does get quite high. So 5 metres is 17 feet, maybe. On the 27th, there was a big surge. So it went from 0.61, 0.67 metres at the measuring station, 0.82, and then the 27th, we had a huge amount of rain. around that time. It was around the time of my birthday. It rained. It came down so fast. So this river filled up so to 2.27 metres. Then on the 28th, 2.68 metres. Dropped a bit, 29th, 30th. Now this is the day that Victoria disappeared. But the flow would have been much faster as well. And the paths along the river were very treacherous. So walks that you might take very safely under, normal circumstances became treacherous. The river also filled up again. And the current, it's not updated this for a couple of days, but it's still higher than it normally is. But it has reduced somewhat. And that's just at the measuring station. We don't know how high that river is at other places other than the measuring station. The banks of the river will contain debris because of the trees, the overhanging trees. So that's just the river levels. I also want to show you this. So we've talked about this information in the Nicola Bulley case. We also talked about this information in the Riley Strain case from Nashville, Tennessee. This is body flow information. So what happens when someone drowns? Once all the water's out of their lungs, they sink. In a river, which is moving, they don't stay in one place. Do you hear that, Peter? They don't stay in one place. They move with the water unless they get caught on something under the water. But they are under water. The body floats when decomposition is sufficient. So the bacteria build up, they release gases. Those gases then make the body float. There's several factors that influence how quickly a body floats. So if you're in very, very deep water, you may never float. That's not the case here. If you're in shallow, warm water, you might float within a couple of days. However, in cold water, it takes quite a while for that gas to build up. The bacteria behave slower. If water is freezing, I mean literally icy, they may never float. If they're caught on debris underwater, they may never float. But as long as the body's unimpeded, 40 degrees Fahrenheit, it takes between 14 and 20 days for a body to float. Nicola Bulley is 23 days. Riley Strain was in water that was about 50 degrees. I think that's about like 10 degrees Celsius. And his body floated between 10 and 14 days. And that was spot on. It was spot on when Riley was found. But I don't know how cold the River Derwent is. I had a look at the temperature. This is today at Malton. And this is the air temperature. Now, obviously, the water's going to be colder. So 7 degrees and a maximum of 8 degrees, which is 46.4 degrees Fahrenheit. Water, I think, is going to be 40 degrees or even less. So the body won't be to the point of floating yet if the water is that cold. Obviously, the police will know this. They take information from experts. This is not secret information. This is not something that only I know. This is a well-trodden science. We're looking at a float time of 14 to 20 days. So it might be a few days yet, if Victoria's body is in the river, that it can be seen on the surface. I know there are people walking up and down those river paths, and I think over the next few days it will be vital for people to be walking those river paths safely. If we get more rain, we've got a lot of wind as well. If we get more rain, then of course just be careful where you're walking. The river's flowing this way. The river's flowing west, and then it goes south and it joins the River Ouse. So the river's flowing this way. I couldn't tell you how far the body would have gotten. That's something I can't tell you. I mean, it just depends on the debris. If the body's free to flow, then she could be quite far down. Nicola Bulley went a mile. It's really sad. It's news that I don't want to give. I don't want to talk about this stuff, but this is most probably what has happened to Victoria. but I do hope I'm wrong. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye, guys. Noodle! Come on, Noodle! Good boy! Good girl. Good girl. Good girl.